In the fading light of that sacred evening, Jesus and his disciples sat upon the Mount of Olives. The city of Jerusalem stretched before them like a living flame, its golden stones reflecting the sunset's glow. A soft wind stirred through the olive branches, whispering secrets that only the Son of God could truly understand. The disciples were weary but alert. Something in the Lord's expression told them that what he was about to say would echo through the ages. He gazed over the city, eyes filled with both compassion and sorrow, as if he could already see the centuries ahead, the wars, the deceptions, the faith that would flicker and fade in the hearts of men. "Take heed," he began, his voice low and steady, "for the days will come when many will be deceived. They will claim to follow me, but their hearts will be far from me." The disciples exchanged uneasy glances. They had heard him warn about false prophets, greed, and hypocrisy, but now, his tone was different, heavier, more personal. Jesus turned to them and said, "There is a sin that few will see, though it will grow in many. It is not drunkenness, nor theft, nor violence, it is a sin of the heart, hidden behind good deeds and holy words." His eyes lingered on Peter, then on John, who leaned close, sensing the gravity of the moment. It is the sin of pride, the sin that blinds the soul from love. When love grows cold, when mercy becomes scarce, and when the heart exalts itself above others, my light fades within them. The disciples sat in silence, struggling to grasp the depth of his words. Pride? Could pride truly bring such ruin? Jesus continued, his gaze now distant, as though he were seeing the future of mankind unfold before him. "Many will speak in my name," he said softly, "and perform wonders. They will think themselves righteous because they keep the law or preach my words. Yet their hearts will judge, their tongues will wound, and their love will die. And in that day, they will hear me say, 'I never knew you.'" A chill ran through the group as his voice grew almost mournful. "This sin will spread quietly," he said, "as the world grows colder and self-exalts above sacrifice. It will disguise itself as holiness, as confidence, as strength. But it will be pride, the sin that cast down the morning star." The air grew still. The sun dipped below the horizon, and for a moment, all was silent except the rustle of olive leaves. Jesus bowed his head, whispering almost to himself, "Before the coming of the Son of Man, this sin will be everywhere, among kings and beggars, teachers and prophets. Few will see it, for it hides in the heart that refuses to love." Peter finally spoke, his voice trembling. "Lord, how can we guard our hearts from this sin?" Jesus lifted his eyes, filled with tenderness. "Stay humble before my Father," he said. "Love without seeking return. Forgive quickly. Do not exalt yourself, even in righteousness. Watch and pray, for pride is the doorway through which love departs, and when love departs, the light fades." The disciples bowed their heads, each feeling the weight of those words. They did not yet understand that this warning was not just for them, but for every generation that would follow, especially the one that would live to see the last trumpet sound. And as night fell over the Mount of Olives, the Son of God sat in silence, knowing that even among his followers, the overlooked sin he spoke of would one day return to test the hearts of all who claimed his name. Years passed, and centuries unfolded. The words Jesus spoke on that quiet hill became echoes in the hearts of believers who came long after the disciples were gone. Churches were built, empires rose and fell, and the message of Christ reached every corner of the earth. Yet the sin he warned about, the silent one, the invisible one, continued to spread like smoke, unseen but suffocating. It hid beneath sermons, behind worship songs, even within acts of charity. It was the pride that whispered, "I am righteous," while the heart quietly withered. Elias was a young pastor, born into a time when the world was obsessed with image and influence. His church had grown quickly, bright lights, a digital following, and crowds that hung on his every word. Each Sunday, he preached about repentance, holiness, and the coming rapture. People cried, lifted their hands, and filled the altar with prayers. But deep inside Elias's own heart, something dark and quiet had begun to take root. He had stopped praying as much, stopped seeking the secret place where humility was born. He loved applause more than brokenness. He compared himself to others and thanked God he wasn't like them. One night, as a thunderstorm rolled over the city, Elias sat in his study preparing another sermon about being ready for the rapture. Rain pounded the windows, and lightning flashed across his notes. As he prayed, his voice sounded hollow, more like performance than prayer. Suddenly, the power went out. The silence was thick. In that darkness, Elias felt a chill sweep over him. His heart began to race. Then came a sound, not from outside, but from within, a whisper that felt both gentle and heavy. "You speak of my coming, but you are not ready." Elias froze. The room seemed to vanish as a vision overtook him. He stood beneath a sky splitting open with brilliant light. Trumpets sounded. Millions rose toward the heavens in radiant glory. He stretched his arms upward, shouting, "Lord, take me. I've preached your word. I've led your people." But his feet wouldn't lift. He looked around and saw others ascending, those he once judged, those he thought less holy, rising joyfully into the light. Then he saw him. Jesus stood upon the clouds, eyes shining like fire, filled with both love and sorrow. Elias fell to his knees, trembling. "Lord, why am I left behind?" he cried. Jesus looked upon him, not in wrath, but with a grief that pierced deeper than any rebuke. "You serve my name," he said softly, "but not my heart. You loved the stage more than the secret place. You warned others about sin but never repented of the pride that hid in your own soul. You called for revival but would not humble yourself." The vision faded. Elias found himself back in his study, drenched in sweat, heart pounding. He fell face down on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. The thunder outside seemed to echo his cries. "Forgive me, Lord," he whispered, "I see it now. I see what you meant." For the first time in years, his tears weren't for his image, or his ministry, or his success, they were for his soul. He stayed there through the night, praying not for blessing, but for cleansing. And as dawn broke, something within him broke too, the shell of pride that had kept love imprisoned. He felt peace return, quiet and pure, like a gentle flame rekindled in his chest. From that day forward, Elias changed. His sermons were no longer polished performances, they were confessions of grace. He spoke more about love than achievement, more about humility than victory. His church grew smaller, but the spirit within it grew stronger. And though the world still rushed toward the day of Christ's return, Elias walked humbly, his heart awake, his eyes fixed not on the crowd, but on the one who had warned him before it was too late, because sometimes, the most dangerous sin isn't the one the world condemns, it's the one that hides behind the appearance of holiness. And it was that sin, the one Jesus warned about long ago, that Elias finally overcame before the trumpet would sound.